All right, let's dive right into an explainer that's going to totally flip how you look at that vehicle sitting out in your driveway right now. Welcome, I'm so glad you're here. The data we found in our source material completely challenged how I think about transportation. And we're going to break down exactly why owning a car might just be the absolute biggest invisible drain on personal wealth we face today.
We got to kick things off with a kind of uncomfortable question. Is your car literally stealing your future? Because I'm telling you, the numbers we're about to unpack are absolutely wild. The whole way we've been taught to buy, hold on to, and eventually trade in cars, it's fundamentally shifting.
First off, thank you so much for dedicating your time to this explainer today. I promise to make it worth your while. Our key insight, the massive takeaway from this analysis, is that the so-called mobility revolution isn't just about going green or getting some cool new tech. It is actually a massive financial revolution. We're going to reveal why optimizing how you move is basically the ultimate hack for preserving and growing your personal wealth.
Here's how we're going to break it down today. 1. The new mobility paradigm. 2. The physics of waste. 3. The wealth drain. 4. The Moss revolution. And 5. Death of the dealership. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The new mobility paradigm. Moving beyond the 20th century obsession with ownership. According to the research, the auto sector isn't just swapping out gas engines for batteries. It's undergoing the total systemic collapse of a really outdated way of doing things. We're moving towards something called utility-first capital optimization. In plain English, it means ditching the asset-heavy status symbols, buying huge cars just to show off, and moving toward using what you need exactly when you need it. Think of it like streaming your favorite music, instead of hauling around crates of CDs. This new model prioritizes keeping your cash liquid over physical possession, freeing up your capital to actually grow. Which brings us to Section 2, the physics of waste, why mechanical inefficiency dictates financial failure. To really grasp the financial waste here, the sources argue we have to look straight at the undeniable laws of thermodynamics driving this transition. Take your standard internal combustion engine. It only uses about 25% of its energy to actually move you forward, literally throwing away the rest as heat and friction. An EV, on the other hand, converts a massive 85% of its energy straight into movement. Continuing to pour money into a technology that wastes that much energy is basically a violation of fundamental physical logic. And that 75% failure rate is the huge takeaway here. Imagine going to the pump and just tossing 75 cents in the trash for every dollar you spend. You are literally subsidizing a 75% energy loss as pure heat. In literally any other asset class, a 75% friction cost would be a catastrophic financial failure. So the shift to electric isn't just a green choice. It's about cutting out massive, foundational mechanical waste. Moving on to Section 3, the wealth drain, the money pit analysis of the private car. If the machine itself is that mechanically wasteful, it really shouldn't shock us that the financial model is just as brutal. Let's look at the textbook definition of an unproductive asset. In the world of wealth management, this is a holding that just eats your cash through maintenance and depreciation without making you a single cent in return. And honestly, the private car is the absolute perfect example of this. It's essentially a giant capital leak in your household budget. And the scale of this leak? It's nuts. The statistics analyzed in the source material confirm that your private vehicle sits parked and completely useless for up to 90% of its lifespan. Think about that for a second. You are paying 100% of the costs for something that gives you utility maybe 10% of the time. Crazy, right? Oh, and it gets worse. The very second you sign those papers and drive off the lot, boom, you trigger an immediate 5% or honestly even higher hit to your capital. That is wealth literally vanishing into thin air in seconds. The source flags this instant devaluation as a massive opportunity cost that completely stunts the growth of your overall net worth over time. When you start stacking up the compounding risks, it gets pretty grim. You've got high idle time, that instant devaluation, or svalutazione, as noted in the original Italian text, plus taxes and ever-rising insurance premiums. But here's the real kicker. Extreme weather risks. Things like heavy hail and flash floods have turned street parking from a convenience into a source of constant financial anxiety. One bad storm can instantly total an already depreciating asset. The source material essentially hands us this incredible critical thinking checklist. You've got to ask yourself, what is the true opportunity cost here? If you took the 40 grand you dropped on a status symbol and tossed it into a compounding index fund instead, where would you be in 10 years? Is your car just a frozen asset,
Are fixed costs destroying your monthly net income? It really forces you to view your vehicle through a ruthless, uncompromising financial lens.
All right, Section 4, the Moss Revolution and the Family of the Future hybrid configuration.
People are waking up to this wealth drain, and according to the research, younger generations are aggressively pivoting to a brand new household model to protect their capital. It's built on two simple pillars. Pillar 1, the essential city car. Small, cheap, likely electric, owned strictly for your daily, high-frequency urban chores. Pillar 2, mass, or mobility as a service. Need a car for a road trip or vacation? Just rent it. You get high-performance vehicles only when you actually need them, pushing all the risk, depreciation, and maintenance completely onto the fleet provider.
The path to true wealth laid out here is super clear. Step 1, avoid those capital-heavy, multi-car setups for your household altogether. Step 2, use specific mobility tools for specific jobs. Please don't buy a massive highway cruiser just to sit in daily stop-and-go city traffic. And step 3, redirect all that saved capital right into compounding investments. Doing this transforms mobility from a massive source of financial anxiety into a flexible, hassle-free utility that actually protects your money. Which brings us to our final section, number 5, death of the dealership, the disintermediation of the traditional retail model. This whole cultural shift is inevitably triggering the total collapse of how cars have been sold to us for decades. The old traditional model relies on huge physical inventory, high-pressure sales tactics, and incredibly opaque contracts, like those guaranteed future value traps. But the new direct digital model is totally transparent. Costs are linear, and the focus is firmly on subscriptions and mobility as a service. We are ditching those legacy dealerships and their predatory financial engineering for lean, digital platforms where the price of your utility is perfectly clear and honest. There's this fantastic quote from the text that perfectly captures the whole aha moment here. The era of the car as a static asset is over. The era of mobility as a streamlined service has begun. This isn't just some passing consumer fad. The source material makes it super clear. This is an inescapable economic evolution driven by the hard rules of modern finance and physical efficiency. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to literally go look out your window. Seriously, think deeply about where your hard-earned capital is sitting right now. Will you invest in your future, or will you keep your wealth parked, slowly rusting and depreciating in your driveway? Thank you again for dedicating your time to our explainer today. I really hope this totally changes how you look at the economics of getting from point A to point B. So what's your next move going to be?